Now, you're a fifth-generation resident of New Orleans, correct?
Yes.
What was your early life like? What was it like growing up in New Orleans?
Well, I didn't think anything was, I thought I lived in a normal city, whatever normal means, right? When I moved away from New Orleans, I realized, oh, no one had the same, no one had a similar upbringing than I did. We lived in a dynamic city. My parents were conservative, but conservative is liberal in New Orleans. So what was it like? Well, when I was dating, not in high school, mind you, in college, when I was dating in college, my mother would be upset if I didn't bring the paper in at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. She didn't think I had a good time. So, and I thought it was normal that everybody had parades growing up during Mardi Gras. Everybody celebrated Mardi Gras. Everybody had those stands, those ladder stands where the kids sit on top of the ladder in a box and their dad crawls up behind them and holds them onto the ladder. I mean, that was normal for me. You know, getting beads and doubloons and being off for Mardi Gras and dressing up like that was absolutely normal.
So it wasn't until you say like went to college.
I went to college, right.
Okay, that you started to go, wow, this is not how everybody lives.
Exactly. It was kind of odd. You know, I was 17 in a bar and I couldn't leave the bar with my beer. Now that was really, in a nutshell, kind of says how my upbringing, not my upbringing, but you know, the environment that I lived in New Orleans, it's that kind of, people aren't lax necessarily. That kind of behavior isn't set as, you know, it's not, people, they don't think that that's anything unusual.
Did you all partake in New Orleans style festivities like Mardi Gras and Jazz Fest and all of it? Did you take advantage of the environment?
We did. Actually, yeah, I have a story. Would you like to hear it?
Absolutely.
Okay. By the way, I don't know if you see the cat, but this could be your debut. At any rate, so when I was a little girl, I must have been 9, 8. My father, 6'4½", very thin, high cheekbones, big forehead, jaw, used to dress up as Abraham Lincoln with the top hat. Now, mind you, if anybody watches this, people are probably wondering, what do you mean dresses up? But for Mardi Gras Day and for parties leading up to Mardi Gras or any of the other parades leading up to Mardi Gras, people dress up in all kinds of costumes. And we were dressed in homemade antebellum hoop skirts and the parasol and the whole thing. Well, so it's my turn. I'm 7 years younger, 7 and 8 years younger than my sisters. So my sisters are out of the house. They're not with us. It's early in the morning, like 7 o'clock in the morning. We're downtown at a friend's office, in an office building downtown. The parade, Zulu parade, is, my parents wanted to see this, particularly my father. Now, mind you, my father, who looks just like Abe Lincoln dressed up, had been collecting pennies, which he would say were Lincoln doubloons, and hand them out. So we go down to see the parade. I'm with my father. It's about 7:30 in the morning. And, you know, it's crowded in the morning. Zulu parade is about to come up to where the King of Zulu is about to toast the mayor. And the King Zulu sees my father. Now, mind you, Zulu parade is an African-American parade, or at least back then it was almost 100% African-American. And he sees my father, and King Zulu on his beautiful king float stops the entire parade and asks my father to get up on the float, which he does. My father looks at me and says, "Go find your mother." I'm 8, and I've got to go find my mother on whatever floor at whatever office building. You know, and there I see my father just going off and toasting the mayor of the city. And so that's, you know, that was our environment in this crazy mayhem. Came home, my mother was, "Where's your father?" Yeah, that's the story.
For those of us who haven't had the experience of Mardi Gras, can you kind of summarize what Mardi Gras actually is?
Mardi Gras starts 12 days after Christmas. And the city of New Orleans, being largely Catholic, It is a religious celebration, even though that's what Mardi Gras is in New Orleans to native New Orleanians. And we start celebrating with parties and balls and parades, different parades, and their crews. Actually, there are now, I think, more crews that are celebrating and parading than there were pre-Katrina. So it's incredible, the excitement and fun. So it starts really, I'd say, several weeks before Mardi Gras Day. And you'll have on the weekends 2 or 3 parades or 4 parades or 5 parades all throughout the city, sometimes going on concurrently. And as kids, you go to these parades and the people on the float, they throw beads and doubloons and these trinkets, and it's so much fun. And you leave home and you've got, tons of beads that, of course, what are you going to do with these beads when you get them? It's just the act and the fun of catching doubloons, which are these coins, and the beads around your neck, putting them around your neck and walking around the streets like this.
Literally a badge of honor.
And it's definitely a badge of honor. And you go into school the next day and you're wearing them, and you're wearing purple, green, and gold, which are the colors. So at this point, let's say a month before, the noise, by the way, is our cat. She's trying to steal thunder, of course. Weeks before, you're starting to see parades during the week. There's a thing that in school usually, and I think it's still done, the kids, I don't know if you ever did this, Charlie, as a child, but you would be asked to bring in, there would be a float contest, and you would dress up a shoebox as a float, and there would be a contest amongst the grade school children.
I actually did do that.
Yeah. And it's a tradition.
Being a resident of Baton Rouge, it did transfer.